So what happens when you actually do not initialize a variable, especially a variable that is called an instance variable? So what is an instance variable? For now, don't worry about the instance variable. I am going to actually just create a variable here, right? Now, I am going to create some getters or setters here. So let me talk about getters or setters. For example, as you can see, we did not assign a value to this variable, right? Previously, I actually showed you that you can actually initialize your variable by just referring to the name of your variable. So for example, we have this animal name here, right? I could just type in animal name and I put an assignment operator, or here I can say, for example, I put two quotes here and I could actually assign, for example, something. And then I put the ending quote and then semicolon, right? So here it's gonna show us an error, and this means that we cannot actually initialize it here. So in order to initialize our variable, I am going to create a method called setter. So I'll talk more about methods later, don't worry. So in order to create a method, I am going to actually declare it as public. So what is this public? Public means that the variable or method that is actually called public is accessible outside of the scope of this animal class. So this means that other files can actually access this public method or variable. That's as simple as that. So now I need to specify the return type of the method. So the return type is going to be void. Again, I'll talk more about methods later. For now, just put the keyword void, and void means that this method that we are going to create is going to return nothing. It's going to just do something. It's not going to return anything here. It's just going to do a task that we are going to teach it here. So public void, and now I need to specify the name of the method. The name of the method is going to be set. So it's very important. For setters, always put set. Set animal. Look at the camel case here. The first word starts with lowercase letter and the subsequent words start with capital letter. Set animal name, right? And now I put a pair of parentheses because this is actually a method, right? Whenever that you actually call a method or create a method, you must put a pair of parentheses after the name of the method. And now I want to specify that this method is going to accept a parameter so that other classes can actually provide values for this method. So here, inside the parentheses, I can actually say string, right? And here, I can say that the name of the parameter is going to be name, right? And then after this parentheses, I just need to open and close this method by using these curly braces. So an opening curly brace followed by a closing curly brace. You can see here, right? So this is the scope of this method. I'll talk more about scopes later, but for now, just know that this is the body of this method. Whatever that we put inside the curly braces here is called the body of this method. So let's actually go inside the curly braces, inside the body of this method, right? And now I told you that this class, look at the scope of this animal class here. This animal class starts with this opening curly brace followed by a closing curly brace. Inside this curly braces, inside the scope of this animal class, we have this variable animal name, right? And we have also this method set animal name inside the scope or inside the curly braces of this animal class. This means that inside this method, we can access whatever we put inside the curly braces of this animal class, right? Because we are actually accessing something in a higher scope. So for example, inside the curly braces of this animal class, we have this variable and we have also this method, right? Whatever inside the curly braces of this set animal name method, I can access this animal name variable because I am inside the scope of this animal class. But if I actually put a variable here, for example, if I put string something here, I cannot access this something outside of the scope of this set animal name. So here inside the class, I cannot say something. The compiler is not going to actually recognize that what I'm typing here. As you can see, the autocomplete feature is not also helping me to choose this something here, because this something is only accessible inside the curly braces of this method. But now let's actually go inside the curly braces of this set animal name, and here I can access animal name, right? I can access this animal name. So here I can put an assignment operator, and you can see that we provided a parameter for this method, right? I'll talk more about methods, right? I'll talk more about parameters later, but look at this parameter. This means that we can provide a value for this method. That's as simple as that. So I can assign name. I can assign name to this animal name. So this parameter is also a variable, right? But this variable here is going to be provided, the value of this variable is going to be provided by the clients of this class. What is the client? The client is the class that is going to use this animal class, right? In order to create animal objects, so that they can actually provide a value for this name variable. And inside this method, we are going to assign that value to this animal name instance variable. So in this way, we are initializing our variable, our private variable. So notice that this method is actually declared as public, so that other classes can be able to set animal name, to use this method in order to provide a value for this animal name instance variable. Otherwise, if we do not provide this method here, other classes would not be able to actually provide a value for the animal name instance variable, because we declared this variable as private, right?